of the biggest mistakes that beginners make is buying tools in the wrong order. You'll waste money and you'll buy tools you actually don't need. So you don't know if you need a planer or a jointer, a table saw or a miter saw first. In this video, we're going to break it down to help you save some money. So if you're like me, when I started out, I had to save every penny to buy the next tool. You had to save up for a while to get there. Buying the right tool in the right order is very important so you don't waste money. Oh, you want to stick around because the last one is a mistake that almost everybody makes, especially when money is tight. And like always, if you want to check out any of the tools and supplies that I show today, there's links in the description, the pinned comment, and of course the QR code you can scan with your phone if you're watching on the TV, or click the View Products button right there here on YouTube. Now when money is tight, buying tools in the right order is extremely important. And over the years, I've helped thousands of people figure out what tools they need to buy, but buying them in the correct order for you is what's most important. Now, let's get into the mistakes to help you avoid buying tools in the wrong order. First on the list, a mistake that a lot of beginners make is they don't buy the core tools before they start buying specialty tools. And what I mean by that, a lot of people go out and they buy parallel clamps because they see them all over YouTube and Facebook and all other build type channels where they show these clamping up cutting boards and all that stuff. These are fantastic clamps, but they're also really expensive, and you can get by with something like a basic bar clamp or F clamp, especially when you first start out. I started with these style clamps as some of my first clamps, and I still use them because they're highly versatile clamps. You can use them for a variety of tasks. So don't run out and buy a bunch of parallel clamps when you really don't need them, especially as a beginner. I also see a lot of people buy a bunch of jigs and specialty tools for a single thing that they probably don't need yet. For instance, like small table saw sleds or even box joint jigs and all kinds of stuff that they're out there that are extremely useful for the right application. But for beginners starting out, wanting to focus on easier projects, less complicated, you really don't need a bunch of jigs and things to do that with. The problem with all this is they wind up spending a bulk of their budget on tools that are very specific for one use case or some small uses, and instead of focusing on tools that they could use on a variety of projects. They'll wind up having a lot of specialty stuff and still not really feel like they can build much of anything because they're so restricted on the tools they bought. If you're starting from scratch and you're wanting to start woodworking and building projects, there's 5 tools that I highly recommend every woodworker own, especially if you don't have any. These are the first 5 tools that I think you should buy based on my experience and what I've helped others with. First, a drill. You're just going to need a drill to drill holes and drive screws with, and it doesn't really matter what brand, just pick your favorite color is kind of what I always say. If you want some suggestions, I'll link to all of this in the description, the ones that I actually recommend. They'll be down there in the description, the pinned comment, and all those other places. First, a drill. This is one of the most important tools a woodworker can buy because it's going to help you join the wood and it's going to help you drill holes. Next, you need a square so that you can lay out square lines, you can check the square of your blades, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I have recommended this since 1995 when I graduated high school. That's me right there. I bought this square in 1995, and I've used it thousands and thousands of times, and I still own it, and it still works great. It's an amazing square. You just need a square. Next, a tape measure. You need a tape measure because you're going to need to measure stuff. A sander because you need a sander in woodworking. It's just a rule. I didn't make it up, but I think it's rule number 738, if I'm not mistaken. And then you need a circular saw of some type so you can cut the wood. If you boil everything down to the bare basics, all woodworking is you're cutting wood and you're putting wood together. That's it. That makes you a woodworker. There's no other secret formula or secret handshake or secret joinery method you got to know. Is the only thing you need to know is if you cut wood and put it together, congratulations, you're now a woodworker. You only need 5 basic tools to make that happen in most cases. What these 5 tools will allow you to do is start making projects, start making mistakes, and start learning. If you're trying to woodwork and you're trying to build projects, you want to sell those projects or give them away as gifts, the only way to get better is practice, and the only way to get better is make mistakes and figuring out that along the way. That goes with anything that you try to do. If you want to get better at it, you have to practice at it. And these 5 tools will allow you to do that at a minimal cost. Again, not these specific brands, but I will list some budget options in the description. But these specific tools, the functions that they do will let you get started. Now I have a video of the first 5 power tools every beginner needs and the first 5 hand tools that every beginner needs. I'll link both of those in the description to help you find them easier. So after this video, I'd recommend you watch those to figure out which 5 power tools you're going to need. But before you watch those videos, you got to know tip number 2, which is buying nicer tools doesn't fix problems. This one feels smart, it feels right, but it gets a lot of people stuck. So you got a saw that's not cutting in a straight line. Now you need a new saw, right? Or if the joints don't line up just right when you put two pieces of wood together, maybe it's the tool you're using that's not getting that correct. Or your project comes out a little rough looking and you think it's the tools that you're using. I see this pretty regular on my communities where I've helped coaching people, is you see these projects not come out like they really wanted them to, and they think it's the tools. When it's really not. It's really just they haven't practiced enough to build up the skill to get the results yet. In other words, what they'll see is they'll go buy a better miter saw or a better table saw or a track saw or something like that to help them get better results on the projects, when that wasn't really the core issue that hasn't been fixed yet. They haven't developed those skills to get those accurate cuts with the tools they already have. So before you run out and buy those tools or upgrade to the next best thing, just ask yourself, is it the tool that's actually the problem, or have I not practiced enough yet to get the skill necessary? The main thing is, think about this rule. Accuracy is going to beat power almost every time. Most of the time with a lot of beginners, they don't understand that the tool needs to be set up properly to get the best results. So when I got my very first miter saw, I had no idea that the blade needed to be perfectly 90 degrees to the bed of the miter saw so that it gets dead accurate cuts, or that the blade needs to be 90 degrees to the back fence so we get square cuts. Same thing with a table saw. You have to set those up to make sure everything is dialed in to get the best results. If you dial those in and you're still getting bad results, it could be the tool, but most of the time it's going to be improper setup. So don't run out and buy a bunch of new tools before you check the accuracy of the tools you have. And there's also a lot of budget-friendly upgrades to the tools that you currently have to keep you from spending money on the larger tools. For instance, if you want a track saw, those are very expensive, anywhere from $500 to $1,000 on track saws. Very expensive tools. For years, I used a straight edge and a circular saw, or something like the Craig Rip Cut that fits most any circular saw. Or even a couple of years ago, Milescraft come out with a track saw guide rail that you can attach most any circular saw to and turn it into a track saw for about $100. So there's a lot of options out there to upgrade current tools to get you the results that you want without having to buy those more expensive tools. Number 3, buying this in the wrong order could really hurt you. I see a lot of beginners go out and buy tools they don't need yet. They're basically planning for the future, like with a planer or a jointer or even a table saw a lot of times when they don't actually need those yet. The main thing with this rule is buy the tools that'll fix the problem you're having now. When I started, I was building outdoor furniture. I needed to make good, accurate angle cuts, so I bought a miter saw to fix that problem because I needed to repeat the process multiple times because I was building so many of those outdoor chairs. This helped fix a problem. It didn't waste money. However, I have bought a drum sander when I didn't need it. I have used it a few times, and I just don't use it that often because I don't need it. I didn't need it when I bought it, but I thought it was cool and I bought it anyway. Most of us make these mistakes when you see a tool that you think you're going to use, and then when you get it, it just sits there collecting dust and you've wasted money on it. When money is tight, this is a big, big problem. When your project actually demands a tool, a specific tool, you'll know it. And you'll use it immediately when you buy it, and if you're making those projects a lot or doing the same project over and over, you're going to get the most use out of that tool. So just be careful not overbuying tools that you don't need. And again, if you don't know what you need, first 5 power tools video will be linked in the description. You should watch after this one. But number 4 is where a lot of beginners get hung up because they assume this is what they need to buy, and that is cordless tools. Sometimes buying a corded tool is much better than buying the cordless version of that tool in a lot of cases, especially for beginners. I have a whole video on the biggest scam in woodworking, and it's cordless tools. And it's not specifically cordless tools themselves because I absolutely love them. What I think is the scam is that there's giant combo kits out there that they sell for like 8, 10, 12 tools in a kit. Batteries, chargers, like you're getting it all. It's one and done. What it really is you're getting about 3 or 4 tools that you'll use on regular basis, and the rest you'll rarely, if ever, use, and they'll wind up stuck in a door piled up like that you're not using because they come in a big old combo kit. So be very cautious about those combo kits. I will say cordless tools make a lot of sense for drills and impact. When I started, I used 2 corded tools. It's very annoying dragging those cords all around a project and keying the chuck in. Like it's a pain in the rear. If you can afford and can budget in a cordless set like this very inexpensive DeWalt set, it's a really nice little set for a very good price. Those are very convenient. But you don't necessarily need to get a cordless circular saw. There are some very good budget-friendly options, circular saws out there that are corded that's going to provide you plenty of power, plenty of accuracy, everything you're going to need in a saw. I'm also not a huge fan of cordless table saws or even miter saws. If you're in a shop setting and you have power available to you that you can plug into, I think it's better to get corded versions of those. If you're on a job site or your power is limited where you're at, then I obviously understand. Milwaukee makes a fantastic cordless table saw. I reviewed it. I think it's an amazing saw. But I also think that the DeWalt 8 1/4 saw or the Skill is a much better option for beginners on a budget for a corded version. And besides that, if you're on a budget, corded tools are often way less expensive than cordless tools. One of the main things a lot of beginners underestimate, including myself when I was starting out, is consumables are tools too. We look at blades, bits, sandpaper, that sort of thing as just throwaways, or we're just going to use them until they're done and throw them away. But these are actually very important tools that most beginners don't really think about, and they buy in the wrong order. In other words, they wait till the last to buy something like this. First, sandpaper. I started out buying bulks of sandpaper off of Amazon that was just really cheap, and I got cheap results. You get swirly marks. If you've never seen those, if you're sanding and you put stain on something, you'll see these little pigtail things. It's very frustrating. A lot of that comes from buying cheap sandpaper. The sanding grit comes off and it gets kind of hung up in there. It starts scratching around as your sander's sanding. Buying better sandpaper gets you better results. That's like woodworking rule number 284. This is 3M paper. It's a little bit pricier. I've also used Diablo paper and have been perfectly happy with that. So it just depends on what type of sandpaper you want to buy, but the 3M is what I use. I like this mesh because it, again, is mesh. You can see through it, and it helps pull the dust through this, get it up into your sander dust bag or dust extractor if you're using one of those, and that helps keep the sand from building up. It helps keep heat from building up and just get you a better overall finish with the net. Dull blades cause a lot of problems, including tear out, burning, and even crooked cuts. If you're using on a circular saw and you have a dull blade on there, it'll actually walk a little bit because the blade is dull. It's not being able to cut efficiently. You can buy very budget-friendly blades anywhere for the most part, as long as they're nice blades. The ones they send on a lot of modern table saws, like the Skill table saw, the actual blade on it, the saw is fantastic. The blade on it's trash. Something like this DeWalt or Spider blades or Hercules blades, things like that, Diablo, they make really good blades for a fair price. They don't last as long as something like the CMT line of blades. I really like that. But for a fair price and do a really good clean cut, you can't beat blades like this. And also don't forget, clean blades or happy cuts anyway. If your blade gets dull, especially if you're cutting a lot of pine and sap heavy woods, they'll get kind of gunked up around the teeth, and that'll cause burning and tear out and all that. And you think you need a new blade when you actually just need to clean it. Cleaning a blade is easy. All you need is a little bit of simple green and a soft bristle brush. Spray that on there, let it set for a few minutes, brush, dry it off, do the other side, good to go. Drill bits are consumable, they get dull. If you can sharpen them. If not, get another set. Also, router bits get dull and dirty. Same, just like a saw blade, you can clean those. A lot of times, just cleaning a router bit does a world of good. But then when they do get dull, you'll start seeing burning and tear out and that sort of thing. So make sure you buy these along with your tools. So if you buy a new saw and it comes with a blade that's not that great, go ahead and buy one of these while you're at it. That way you do things in the right order and you won't be sad when you have bad cuts. All right, this is the biggest mistake that most all beginners make that costs them the most money, costs them a lot of time and frustration. And that's buying tools before they have the project. I've seen a lot of people, they go out and buy a bunch of tools and try to build their shop up before they ever build anything. And then once they start building stuff, they realize that they don't need a lathe or they don't need a drum sander or even a table saw a lot of times. I've seen a lot of people buy table saws, start woodworking, and then realize I never used the table saw. And so they get rid of it and then buy stuff they actually need when they just sat there and collected dust and they wasted money and they lost money by selling it used versus new. It's just frustrating. Don't run out and buy a bunch of tools you don't need until you know what you need. How do you know what you need? What do you want to build? Pick one project that you really want to build. Figure out what tools you're going to need for that build. You can build a whole bunch of stuff with a circular saw and a drill. A whole bunch. There's a whole bunch of videos on YouTube about it. My very first project that I was selling was outdoor chair set. It's literally made with a circular saw and a drill. That's it. Like, you don't need any other tools other than that. And then you can get started. You can build those projects, put them for sale, sell them for a profit, and then take those profits and put back into your woodworking so you can buy the tools that you want for the next project. Your projects is what should be growing your shop and not your tools. You can buy all the tools in the world and have no projects to build, and then you just got a shop full of tools and nothing to do. Make sure you're getting the tools for the projects you actually want to work on. This is the part that all beginners need to hear. Progress is supposed to be slow. You're not going to be hand cutting dovetails on your first try. You're not going to be building the most beautiful furniture piece you've ever seen on your first project. It's supposed to take time. You're supposed to make mistakes. You're supposed to learn along the way. Those mistakes are building a foundation. You're not behind anyone. You're not running a race with any other woodworker. When you see somebody else doing something you're not there yet. It's okay. Just keep working and practicing and running your own race, and you'll get to where you want to go. And real quick, if part of the frustration is you're wanting your woodworking to build your tools or to help pay for itself, that's the way I did it. I wanted my woodworking not to take away from my budget or my family's budget. I wanted to be able to build things, sell those things, and then buy more tools to help me build more things, and then eventually make a profit with my woodworking business. That's how I started, and that's the reason I developed Sawdust Startups. It's one of the greatest coaching communities you could ever be a part of. There's over 500 other woodworkers in our Sawdust Startups group, where we have live group coaching every Tuesday. Plus, there's a lot of courses on there to teach you time management, how to price your products, what to build that actually selling, how to market on Facebook or Etsy, various other places, even in-person sales. So if you'd like to be a part of that, you can join right now for free for the first 7 days. Check it out. Get all the tools necessary to get you started. Get that first sale to start making money with your woodworking. I'll put the first link in the description to Sawdust Startups as well as the pinned comment. Or you can go to school.com/Sawdust Startups. Check it out there. If you're a beginner woodworker and or you're on a tight budget, the fastest way forward in woodworking is not more tools. It's actually just taking it one step at a time and knowing the right tools to buy in the right order. If you check out that video right there, that's the first 5 power tools you should buy, and then that's the first 5 hand tools you should buy if you're a beginner woodworker. Check both of those out. If you click one of those boxes, you get a big old virtual fist bump. That's all I gotta say about that. Seriously, just start. That's really all you gotta do.